Thank you very much. I would like to introduce Caio Merino.
Thank you.
Business in the UK have a 66% failure rate within the first 5 years of business. Worldwide, the statistics show 50% failure in the first 2 years. So here I am, graduate from La Roche, started my own business with a 1 in 2 chance of failing or succeeding. It's more than the lottery, so why not take our chances? Back in 2004, when I left Brazil, I was young, inexperienced. I hope I'm still young and inexperienced in some ways. And that was a completely life change, as most of us left our countries and went so far away. My parents didn't run a hotel. They had their own businesses, but never a hotel. And the hospitality scene in Brazil was actually quite appalling. We didn't have major players, was mainly what we know as pousadas. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the concept of pousadas. Have you seen that in Brazil? Yeah, very good. It's a very simple concept. Basically, it's a guest house, or what you would consider a guest house today. These are very homely feelings. The bed tends not to be very comfortable many times, to be very honest with you. But you have beautiful settings, and it's a very warming and hospitable service. The people that work at pousadas tend to be the local people, and these are the very best way to get to know the local services, the local restaurants. Rarely you're going to end up on a tourist trap. And this is pretty much what it would be like. Now, when I say that the hotel scene in Brazil is appalling, just Four Seasons recently has announced that finally, after more than 10 years in the making, they're opening the first Four Seasons in São Paulo, which we're quite proud of. With the advent of Airbnb, most of us hoteliers probably felt quite threatened. Actually, in 7 years that the company has existed, they amalgamated more than 24,000 listings in Greater London. There is an unofficial figure for the hotel inventory in London, but in 2010, an independent research showed 123,000 rooms. Means that in 7 years, Airbnb gathered a fifth of the inventory that an industry with over centuries that we work on took to create. A quick quiz. Who knows what was the first hotel and when was it open in London? Oh, come on. No, it was not the Savoy. No. It was Brown's in 1837. A long time ago. In 7 years, Airbnb got 24,000 rooms. Now, is Airbnb the only one? Sorry about the shift on the presentation. 24,000 on Airbnb, but there's more. Yeah. These are only the global places, distributing places for the sharing economy and independent operators. There's more. So we could see that as hoteliers as a big threat for our business. But at the same time, if you just consider Airbnb with 24,000 listings, that also means that there are potentially 24,000 amateurs out there trying to do what we do best. So yes, sure, the sharing economy has changed the way that people buy, and more than ever we are price conscious as guests when we travel. But more and more we start seeing people who are willing to pay a premium for a good service and have a genuine experience, perhaps not as a hotel anymore, the sense we know, but in different ways. Just to give you a little background, these are a few of the companies that before starting Merino Hospitality, Luis and I, my business partner, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, where we started. When I moved to London in 2010, I had graduated from La Roche 2008, went to work in Brazil, where I joined the Miliano Hotel and Buffet Fazano, hosting some pretty exclusive events. Did my internships in La Residencia, moved to London in 2010 and joined the Savoy team. Amazing, no? For the reopening, £220 million refurbishment. After that, I joined Harbour & Jones, which is a catering company in London, and that brought me to head the catering department at Burberry headquarters in Horseferry House, and as well as London Stock Exchange for a short period of time. But let me take you to the Savoy. Probably everyone in here are familiar with the hotel and its refurbishment and everything. When I joined, they claimed that there were 27,000 applicants for 500 jobs. You know, it's nearly 6 to 1. I was quite proud. So, there you go, you made it. I did make it. Actually, it was one of the most interesting interview process I've ever been through, the most thorough. First day alone, 5 interviews with MODs and managers, followed by profile exercises, dynamics, all culminated with an interview with the GM. So I got to the team. I had decided to change a career path. I've been always a good believer that the best way to learn a new skill is to start from scratch. As you could see, I had done most things in food and beverage. And I said, well, I need to learn front office, and the textbook is not going to cut it. So I reset my career and went to work in front office, got to the team, and thought, wow, the caliber of the people that a process like this must gather. It's, you know, excited about working with so many knowledge people. I didn't know there would be so many from Lausanne, by the way. But anyways, joined in, and we started. The business was very good. And then the frustrations come along, as in any other place you work for. All culminated with the same one of the Lausanne alumni, and I hope they keep on repeating mistakes after mistake to keep Le Roche up there. I had, after the refurbishment, the Savoy, who are you? Are any of you familiar with the rooms at the Savoy, the room layout? Has anyone worked in there? Yeah? There is an inner courtyard. What you see on the Savoy, the Riverview suites and everything, yeah, that's not all of them that you get that. Some of them will have the inner courtyard, which is still beautiful rooms, but the inner courtyard didn't have a beautiful view. And I approached this colleague of mine who was part of the committee for redevelopment of the hotel and the green committee and everything. And some of the rooms on the ground floor had a view to air conditioning units. Which, when you're paying £1,500 plus for a junior suite, doesn't quite cut it. So I made a suggestion. Back then was beginning the vertical gardens and things like that. So I suggest, well, why not, Frederick, we don't put one of those. At least people don't get to see the air conditioning split units. Don't be outrageous. That, you know, never going to pay. Just pay 220 million on the refurbishment. That's not going to happen. But fair enough, it was just, you know, a chain, a link in the chain. I approached my head of department, and I said, well, why don't we do that? Look, these guests are paying a premium. Why can't we do that? Nothing got done. Who knows what the courtyard is like now, today at the Savoy? There is a garden. Yeah, that was back in 2010. Last year, they created a garden. I'm not saying that my ideas were always good, or they are always good, or any of us. What I'm saying is that what we were most fed up, Louise and I, as probably a lot of us in here, is that you can see things that can be done differently when you work somewhere. And a lot of times, good ideas and good projects and good people get stopped on their tracks by incompetent people above them, by jealous people, by unprepared managers. And that was always very frustrating for us. That same Lausanne alumni, I had a discrimination case at the Savoy. Someone pointed the finger at my face. Why don't they ship your ass back to where you belong? So thank you very much. He was completely unprepared to handle the situation, which just comes to show that it's not always about where you come from and your experience. If you don't have the life experience on handling with the situation, that doesn't take you anywhere. It's still a learning curve for all of us, and will always be. And that's what business is all about. When we decided to venture into Merino hospitality, because of all these frustrations, we said, all right, we're going to go and we're going to start a company, because we don't like all the hours that we work for other people. We've always been the sort of people that actually tattoo in your chest the brand that you work for, the company, and you work extenuating hours and not seeing progress, personal and professionally, and having things shine through, and seeing so many people on the same situation, put us in a in a position we said, okay, we have an opportunity, or whenever we have an opportunity, let's do it. We didn't know what business would be, how we would fund it, who we would bring to work with us, or anything like that. Coincidentally, we had one of Louise's family apartment became vacant. They had a couple of apartments, it was empty. Louise had just left Marriott, where she used to work before. I was still working at Burberry. We said, well, you know what? Can we do it? We had no idea if it was going to fly. We had no money. Louise was actually pregnant 2 months into her pregnancy. We were living in a basement flat here in central London. Our business is just here in Bloomsbury as well. And okay, let's do it. So we just got whatever we had at hand. And we decided, okay, we got an apartment, brilliant. We got an idea to do things different, brilliant. What do we do? It's a lot easier said than done. We managed to furnish an apartment with whatever we had. Actually, our spare bedroom became our office. The furniture from the spare bedroom went to furnish the second bedroom in the apartment, and we had some other furniture in storage, and we set up the apartment. Ended up, because we didn't have the money, we didn't have the means to do things the way we wish would be, from scratch. I did a lot of the decorating myself. We sourced family and friends for their skills, and we still do. But we launched. We created an apartment, and that was the first one, 7 Kings Mews. We got a Marimekko sofa, we got a beautiful oak table. We pulled it all together. Now, when you see the photos, it's completely different to what it used to look like. But anyways, I like to think we did a good job. And the idea was, whenever you travel with a group of friends or a family, who here has kids? Who have kids? Yes. What do you do? How old are your kids? All right, well, yeah. Fair enough. When they were younger and you stayed at a hotel, when they went to bed, what did you do?
Well, if there was a babysitter.
Yeah.
Otherwise, made sure that they were tucked in and that they had all they needed, and then went out to dinner.
Went out to dinner. That's a brave one. Yeah, well, we found that a lot of people, and ourselves included now with kids, it's very tricky to put kids to bed in a hotel. You go to a room, and most of us don't have the luxury of getting a nice suite with 2 bedrooms or anything like that. You put the kids to bed, and good luck watching TV, having a chat, having even in-room dining, let alone going somewhere for dinner. Truth is that by 7, 8 o'clock, you're going to be in bed as well, most likely. So we decided, okay, 2-bedroom apartment, that is going to work. We had already a lot of people telling us that they liked the concept and the design and everything, so we did it. Guess what happened? We opened the doors, we launched the business. How long did it take to get guests through the door? 1 week. Through what? Airbnb, House Trip, HomeAway, all those sites. We didn't have a budget for marketing. We had actually no idea how could we compete with hotels. We still can't. We tried, Booking.com and all these other venues. It's very hard for a small business to make it. Hospitality, the hotel industry, has great entry barriers that we were not quite so aware of. We were very naive in starting business. Was very exciting, but nonetheless, it's a tough work to make through. But there we are. We got the first apartment. We ended up meeting other property developers and real estate people who helped us get. We went from 1 apartment to another 2 houses, and in a short period of time, within 3 months, as a matter of fact, and everything was going very well. We had a baby. We had to set up an office because now the office relied on the baby's room. For you to get an idea, our living room, I kid you not, was a pile of laundry. Yeah, every Monday morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I would meet the laundry company, and they would come and deliver in a basement flat, which they hated, obviously. But they would bring a pallet of linen, and they would take the dirty linen out. And that's how we started. Wasn't easy, wasn't the best time, and if I may recommend, if you are about to have a baby or if you have a young child, don't do it. Yeah, not just for the time, but for the expenses involved in it. But we made it. This is what our houses look like. They are in a quiet, traditional music street just behind Russell Square. We have 4 of them in a row in the modern redevelopment. Those houses were done in 2013. You can see that the furniture actually ends up being the same. Those 2, the flat that you saw before, ended up being sold, and we could use the furniture. This is our best of times property. This house was also named by one of our guests, which I will explain in a moment how that worked. We find that our customers, they come, if you consider serviced apartment overall, most of them are corporate. We aimed at offering a differential for the serviced apartment, for the hotel, or for the sharing economy. We are none. Our core principle that we don't have a minimum length of stay, as most sharing economy or businesses of this sort would do, allows us to operate as a hotel. We can offer any service that a hotel can offer without the overheads of an F&B department or spa, but we have a concierge service who can book any of those things for you. We can offer you extra beds, cots, and a private chef. Sure, we can offer that. And you got the extra space and the kitchen where you can prepare your own meals. You can put the kids to bed and go down to the living room and have a chat, watch a movie. All our properties are fully equipped with anything that you can imagine. TVs have Netflix. Wi-Fi is complimentary and it works. They are not mutually exclusive, please. So anything, there is parking, also free. So there you are. This is our another 3-bedroom house. Best of times. All artwork is original. We kept a good eye to the design, what usually, or we like to think so, that serviced apartments don't. We have a very big focus on the comfort of our guests. We actually have our own line of mattresses, handcrafting the UK by Epoch Beds. They are also appointed as the favorite suppliers for the Rolls-Royce and Bentley Owners Club. Yeah, and this is one of our 2-bedroom houses with a mezzanine, and then we moved Orchid Way. So best of times and Orchid Way is now quite new in our inventory. We swapped by force of nature from 2 apartments, 1 apartment and then 2 houses. We got another apartment, and then the 2 apartments ended up being sold, and we managed to get 2 houses on my first few days at Les Roches. And I don't know, some of you might have had the same experience. You engage into a chat about how hotels should be designed with the guests in mind, and that the facilities and the services and everything should make the guest feel at home and at ease. And then I raised my hand and I said, okay, if that is so important, why don't guests design their room? For me, it was a no-brainer. Of course, that turned out that the professor said, that's preposterous, it's impossible. How are you going to get someone to design their own room? But that stuck to my mind. When we got this house, I said, okay, let's try. Sure, nowadays with the technology and everything, there must be a way that we can actually give voice to our customers. To why should I dictate what they would like to find in their own accommodation? So we did it. We sent to our previous guests, over 1,500 of them, a video explaining how it worked and a pre-selection, a guide note, more or less, to what they should choose. Each guest had to, if they wanted, pick 1 item for each room in an order of preference. And there it went. And a week later, we received the forms, which we thought would be, 10%. We actually had a 65% response rate, which made things ridiculously hard to combine and make sure that the house didn't look like a wacky house. But we did it. We launched the first accommodation, to the best of my knowledge, where guests effectively picked every single piece of furniture in the house. The one thing that we insisted that we chose were the beds. That's what we provide. Unfortunately, accommodation and the hotel overall, rooms became commodities. So my commodity, our commodity, we make sure that is the best possible. Aside from that, everything else came from guests. A lot of things ended up being bespoke, as well as the beds, sofas, armchairs, artwork. And then we had a little eaves storage, where at one of the houses it stays for luggage. We said, well, for kids, if we're doing something for families and bring so much in London, we don't have an outside space, obviously. Being London, it's Muse House is quite tricky. So we turned a little corner and we said, we don't promote. Let's just see. The response we are getting in that, it's amazing. We have bloggers queuing to come and stay with us and write about it. It's just thinking of families. When we started, everyone, especially those involved in real estate, turned to us and said, you're doing serviced apartments, go for the corporate market. Sure, financially would make sense on the volume, but our focus has never been on volume. Our focus was always about offering travelers an upmarket experience, not just on the comfort itself and the facilities, but on the experience, on the genuine. If you consider the sharing economy as such, that's where our differential comes from. We have that from the hotels, where we can offer you everything. From the serviced apartment, with an eye on the design and the interaction we have with the guests. And where we differentiate ourselves from the other sharing economies, that the properties are completely and fully managed by us. It's not someone's house that you're going to walk in and there is going to be a lock cupboard for the owner or anything like that. And that has proven actually a market that worked. Truth be told, when we decided to start Merino Hospitality, we didn't know if it was going to work out. Often people ask us, oh, when did you have a light bulb moment? Truth is, we did not. We just saw an opportunity, and we decided to embrace it. Could work, could not. 50% of business fail within the first few years. We're still here, 3 years on the making. We hope to continue. I would like to play a little game, or actually propose you a little game, so to help illustrate what entrepreneurship is for us and why we stand on that. So if you could work with the person next to you, yeah, I promise, it's painless. Choose one of you, person A and person B, pick up a present. You're going to give each other a present. And you have a little box. The box can be as big or as small as you wish. And you're going to give a present to the person next to you. And the person next to you, when he or she opens it, she's going to tell you what you are giving them. You have no idea what's coming from there. That's all you're going to know. When that person opens, hi, Sophie. Oh, thank you very much for your present. I love the... And she's going to tell you what she found inside the box. And whereby you're going to say, oh, you are welcome. I got you that because... And you have to give it back. Shall we give it a try? Yeah. Good. I hope you really got what you wanted. I'm pretty sure that the person who gave it to you was quite surprised by what you picked up from your box. For us, that's what being business is like. Everyone talks about business plan and what strategies like, and it is true. You need a business plan and you need to focus. But life throws so much of a curveball around you sometimes that's just not possible. You set out with all the good intentions and you think through, you believe you thought everything through, and then you open that box. And that's what we do in business, in life, but as well with guests. We can't please everyone, and I'm sure that for some people, our product's not going to fit, as Four Seasons doesn't fit some, as Ritz-Carlton doesn't fit others. We can't please everyone. But it's about knowing where lies your strengths. That goes with our team. I have no shame in saying I'm not master of everything, and I don't want to be. But I make sure I surround myself with like-minded people who can add to my knowledge, that we can share a vision. Being a small business, and that was one of the lessons that we learned right from the outset. You have no covenant, and it takes a long time to create that covenant and turn the table with suppliers, with partners, with anyone that you want to do business. We have changed 95% of our suppliers from our first year in business. That's not just because the relationship didn't work or simply because it wasn't suited anymore. Being a foreigner trying to make it in a new country, it's very hard. It's a lot harder than if we were back in Brazil trying to do it, where you have your contacts, where you know how things work. We had to learn about UK employment, taxes. Jesus, who likes those? But, nowadays, we're still learning because we still get curveballs all the time. And that's what this present was all about for us. Every day we wake up and you think, okay, this is my plan, and if I show you my calendar, it's outrageous. If you think, and business owners here can share probably with me, if you think you work hard working for someone else, regardless how much you work, go and start your business. I cannot remember the last time I had a holiday, because even when you go away, it's never a holiday. It's about a new opportunity. It's about what is going on. You're always worried, especially when you have family. Am I right? But it's a hell of a journey. I urge you all here who have a niche to start a business, do it. Do it, because that 50% chance of failing, it's well worth it. Be ready to fail and embrace fail. When we decide to do the apartment with the guests, choosing the furniture, we genuinely didn't know if it was going to work. Yeah, I went completely against everyone's instincts, aside from a business partner. Everyone said, you shouldn't do that, including business pros such as my father, such as Louise's father, and other business owners we know in the UK. We said, well, you know what, why not? Break the paradigm, dare to dream, dare to do things different. Innovation is what distinguishes good from great. Yeah? If you're going to go in business to do what everyone else is doing, what's the point? For us, it doesn't work. If that is what you want, just to be one more player, go for it. If you have a way to make it work, you're probably going to end up, in our perspective, on those 50% that fail. But I tell you what, dare this little bit and do one thing every day that scares you, that challenges you, that challenges those around you. Create chaos. As a business owner, create chaos around your team, because people get comfortable. We all do. It's very easy to lay back and get in a comfortable position, especially when things are working. Being Brazilian with football, everyone says, oh, don't change if it's working, the formula, and then you go and you lose 7-1 to Germany. Don't do that. But if you're never going to find out if you don't try. And that the same thing goes to you in your personal life. Do what we've done. If it works, good. Make sure it works. Often people tell us, do you have an exit strategy? No. If we think about the exit strategy, it means that we're ready to fail. So we do not have an exit strategy. Do we have aspirations? Hell yeah. Do they go according to plan? More often than not, they don't. But we don't know if we don't try. So I leave today with the hope that you guys will get out of here today and take the plunge. If you have that itch, I never had the itch of going to the corporate ladder for all the reasons that we know, because you're probably in the same situation. If you're here today for a talk in entrepreneurship, you probably have that as well. So go and do it. Take your chances. Get the support you need from those around you. You will find out very quickly who is your friend and who is not. All the friends you have right now being an entrepreneur, you become very lonely very fast because you don't have time for anything else. Networking, good luck. That's pretty much all you're going to be doing is work related. But do it. It's a journey that can change you. I am a completely different person today than what I was 3 years ago. And when I finished Le Roche, that person, I don't even know. When you ask, have you been back to on campus? I haven't been back to that person. I've seen some familiar faces here from when we were still there. And everyone has changed so much. Change. It's good. It's nerve-wracking, but it's very good. Yeah? If you have any questions, it will be my pleasure to assist. If there is anything we can do to help you in business in London and setting out, that is one of the challenges we had. And if there is anyone there willing to help us as well, mentorship. Everyone says, get yourself a mentor as a business owner and startup. It's very hard. Because who do you go to? How do you simply approach someone and say, you're going to be my mentor? It's not really how it goes. It's who you know and the networking and everything. So if there is anyone out there interested in mentorship as well, we candidates for help. And just do it. Thank you very much.